G'day you beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to take a look at the role of jungler. We're going to go over my rotation and talk about ganking, where to gank, who to gank, and generally what to do as a jungler. Now I'd just like to preface that this route is the route that I take. It is a little bit different to ones that a lot of other people will tell you to take, but this is the route that I take. Now, there is no real right or wrong way to do it so long as you're ending up with the same sort of end goal. It's like building a deck. As if you want to end up with 68% crit chance, there is no right or wrong way to do it as long as you're not putting stupid things in your build. So with that said, I like to start by coming out and putting a dummy ward down for my mid laner on their right hand side. That not only provides them with lane security, but it also allows me to see what's going on when I'm going to grab my buff. I will then start with either a scythe or a siphon. Now, a general rule of thumb that I use here is, if I'm using someone like Grox, I will use a siphon. If I'm using someone like Chimera, Kwong, or Rampage that has health regen, I'll use a scythe. Okay, now, I start at this white camp here, which is right on the opposite side of the wall to the river buff. So I will clear this and I will head around right in a sort of clockwise rotation if we're looking this way and this is towards 12 o'clock. Okay, so I love a bit of Grox on this because his wave clear is just absolutely amazing. You can see the right lane doing work over there in the background. So I then move over to this right hand white camp, and then I'll go to the one that's closest to our spawn, and then I'll move over to green buff. The reason why I do this is because by the time you have finished these 3 white camps, you are then level 2. If you work well on your kiting like I'm doing here, so that I'm not allowing them to damage me too much, you end up going for green buff at level 2 with a little bit extra damage, and you know, you've got full health still. Okay, so we're over here now. We've got our second ability, which is our smash and grab. We've got a bit more health. I actually use that to sort of stun them and allow me to do a little bit more damage because I am intending on getting river buff. And you just end up with getting green buff with a little bit of extra health because you're able to clear it quicker. You have a bit more health to start off with. So now at 2 minutes 30, I have at least a little bit of an option. I can go and clear these 2 camps, which I think I do here. Just getting the 1 minion, and it leaves me with just enough time to get to the river buff and take the river buff. Okay, so at this moment it's a good moment to actually call to attack the river camp, which I don't think I do here. I'm not too sure. Oh, actually I don't, because I'm on comms with the mid laner. I'm a silly man. So we get purple buff here, and I try to do something with it. So unfortunately Grox comes in and our Morigesh has to back out, but I try to do as much as I can on the mid laner. Okay, now if I had have waited, we probably could have got the kill, but I didn't. That was my silly mistake. I've actually cut over to some crunch gameplay here because we're going to talk about ganking. Now, the fact that I didn't get the kill in mid is it's a bit annoying. It would have been great if we actually got the kill, but just making your presence known in mid lane and doing that damage will force that mid laner to maybe not overextend quite as much anymore and suffer a little bit on their farming because you've made yourself known. Okay, now you kind of need to be unpredictable in where you are going, so it is really good that you rotate and gank different lanes. Don't just keep going back to left lane to gank at roughly the same amount of time. You don't want them at the point where they kind of know, oh, he'll probably be coming back soon, because if mid lane and their off lane keep seeing you in their safe lane, then they're probably not going to think that you're coming in. They're just going to be as aggressive as they want, and they're going to farm as much as they want. So you want to be completely unpredictable. You want to pop up here, there, and everywhere, and that causes the enemy team to not really know what you're doing. Okay, now, just quickly, at the start of the game where I put my dummy ward down, it is completely fine to go and put that on green buff and hopefully get a pick on the enemy jungler while they're going for their green buff early game, but I just like to give my mid laner a little bit more security. Now, on the topic of actually ganking, it doesn't really matter which lane you do gank as long as you are supporting your team, because if you're pulling off ganks and getting kills or getting assists early game, you're providing yourself and your team with CP and XP. So regardless of what you are doing, you're actually helping everyone out. I typically prefer to put a little bit of pressure on mid lane and to gank our off lane, so gank out their carry. I just feel that ganking their carry, scaring them and forcing them to play passive and forcing the mid lane to play passive is a much better idea, because they're the ones that you're really probably going to have to worry about. Like, think about it. Mid lane, you've got people like Morigesh, Bellica, Howitzer, strong casters, Gideon and Gadget, that you really don't want to get too strong, and you don't want them to be too cocky, and you don't want them to feel too safe. And to the same regard, the carry, you do not want the carry getting strong. So actually ganking that lane like we're doing right here is a very good thing to do, because you do not want the enemy carry getting strong. And you see her here with black buff, and we're just going to absolutely delete her anyway. Or actually we're not. Or do we? I think we actually get around and get this kill, or she chases off and gets that kill. But yeah, I tend to prioritize the carry and the mid laner. Generally, I will pretty much go for the carry the majority of the time, but I try to make my presence known in right lane whenever I can and support them, and try to be a bit aggressive in mid and scare off the mid laner. Now, apart from ganking, the only other thing that we should probably really talk about is your actual rotation. After your first rotation, what I generally try to do, because if you've taken the entire minion camp out, the timer is sort of reset, so it's at its maximum until you get your next minion. That means it's going to take 5 minutes until you have 5 stack. So this camp right here, for example, after we actually destroy the first one, you'll see the timer pop up and we'll know what our time is at. So you see there we've got 38 seconds. So by the time we've finished this, it's going to be 4 minutes and 30 seconds before that is a 5 stack again. So I try to clear my entire jungle and then come back sort of 4 to 5 minutes later, and now in this occasion I try to clear my entire jungle again, and then I know that in the next 4 minutes to 5 minutes we're going to be having 5 stacks. Okay, so that frees me up 4 minutes to back and spend points, go grab my green buff, make my presence known, try for some ganks, and then come back and clear all my camps again. Okay, so that's what I generally do as a jungler. Also, just make sure that you really keep an eye on your enemy carry, and make sure that they're not dying too much, because you will find that the mid laner will actually rotate a lot of the times to take out your carry. So you want to keep wards in places where you can catch a rotation from the mid laner going over to delete your carry. So keep an eye on that. And one other thing, now that the raptor camps actually spawn at 10 minutes, try to be sort of done doing what you need to do at around about the 9-minute mark, so that you can make sure that you help push up a lane, put a bit of presence, and help them take raptors. Now, what I generally do when I take raptors is I make sure that they get the first and second raptor, and then you can attempt to take the third one or just give it to them. That's completely up to you. Now, I'm not saying that it's wrong if you do take them. I personally think that they're for the carry, and you're lucky if you get one, but that's my personal opinion. I just like to feed my carry a lot more than I think a lot of other people do. It's not wrong if you want to take one. A lot of the times they'll just give you one, but just remember that as well. If you're the carry, consider feeding your jungler one of those raptors, because they a lot of the times are going to be there to help you take them. So I don't really think there's too much else to touch on. I mean, we're not going to go into builds or anything like that. You build how you want to build. I will go over guides and builds for junglers as we continue going. But that's pretty much it. That's my early game route that I take. As I said, it doesn't matter where you gank, just make sure that your presence is known. Don't be one of those timid junglers that sort of starts to go in and then leaves, because a lot of the time people just are not going to be scared of you. So there's really no point in you even going out there if you're not going to at least make a push. And it doesn't matter if you know you're not going to get the kill. Making the attempt is absolutely huge, because as I said, it makes people play a lot more timid, and it puts the advantage in your favor. And on top of that, I'm not going to tell you exactly where to ward. I'm sure you can figure out where you need to ward. Just remember that you need 360-degree vision. A lot of the times you want to get as much vision as you possibly can. The only place that I would definitely be warding as a jungler is your green buff and probably raptors. Okay, you want to a lot of the times you can grab green buff and rotate over and get a few catch a few carries out while they're trying to take raptors. So hopefully, guys, you like that route that I take. Give it a go. It's pretty much the exact same thing as everyone else is doing. As I said, it's much of a muchness. It's all getting the same thing done. Just make sure that you're getting all your camps done. Grab green buff, grab that river buff. Being there for that river buff is huge, because the majority of the time the mid laners will always go to the buff to the left of them, and the jungle will go to the one to the right. So you really want to be there to take that, because if the enemy mid laner is going to come over, it not only stops them from having the mana regen and the added benefit of the buff, but it gives you a chance to actually clean up your kill if they do jump in there. So like I said, guys, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you found something in there that was helpful to you. If you did, please smash that like button, leave me a comment, let me know what you think, or even if you have anything to add on the topic, please do so. Be nice to each other in the comments. Subscribe if you're not already. But as per usual, guys, thank you so much for watching. I love your face, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.